everyone, and welcome to 43. George W., or Walker Bush, nicknamed W. Obviously, he's still alive, and so is Laura, his wife, governor of Texas for a while before becoming president. 2000 election, that one that you should know, it was sort of controversial. You can see it's a very close election. Actually, Al Gore gets more of the popular vote than Bush. But electorally, Bush just wins. It's sort of kind of like, remember, 1877, Hayes versus Tilden? Almost, the exact same thing. And Florida was kind of a state, again, where there's a lot of electoral mistakes in counting the votes. So, again, very, very interesting. Then 2004, Bush, in a more convincing win, but not a landslide by any means, defeats John Kerry in a fairly close election electorally as well. All right. Now, notable events, certainly ones that we're all familiar with in our lifetimes, even your lifetimes. September 11th, 2001. This transforms the Bush presidency. Therefore, add their notable events, the War on Terror. That becomes sort of the most important part of his presidency. We quickly attack Afghanistan. Militarily, we have a fairly, how should I say it, I won't say easy, but certainly we quickly defeat the Taliban resistance in Afghanistan. But we do have a hard time finding Osama bin Laden, and we really won't find bin Laden later to the Obama administration, right? So that was a big part of our war. Also, write down the war in Iraq, the second war in Iraq. This was sort of much more controversial than the first war in Iraq. Here again, the question was, did Saddam Hussein have weapons of mass destruction? Was he tied with Al-Qaeda in Iraq? And was he part of the 9/11? There was a lot of debate about that. And there was, even at the time with the UN, a lot of debate about that. Again, Saddam Hussein really didn't make it easy for himself. He wasn't really forthcoming with information. He really wasn't as cooperating as he perhaps should have been with the UN. So therefore, the UN does authorize an invasion of Iraq to make sure he does not use weapons of mass destruction. The problem was, once the invasion happened and we get in there, we don't find any weapons. But we do depose of him. We do capture Saddam Hussein. He is put on trial. He is executed for war crimes, mostly for the way he treated the people in the northern part of Iraq who were resistance groups. He used chemical weapons on them. They were the Kurdish people in Iraq with the Turkey border. Very sad thing done in the 1980s. But again, the issue of Iraqi independence, can Iraq stand on its own 2 feet without the American military? Certainly is still an issue that's still prevalent and debated today. On a home front, most of his domestic policy had one major education initiative called the No Child Left Behind Act, which is the idea that no child, no matter smart, or children who are struggling, there should be more federal involvement in education. This will have more influence later in the Obama administration with the implementation of the Common Core, which has been a lot more federal oversight into state issues of education. All right, so that's pretty much about it. There's not really a lot of miscellaneous fun facts. We'll just kind of be done with that one. And that's the end of George W. Bush. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.